Good evening. Today's February 1st, 2009, and I've been putting off something for a long time that I want to do, and something I actually need to do. Is to kind of give you an idea where I've come from and why I've decided to make a major change in my life. Major transformation.
Hi, my name's Robert Detwiler, but you can call me Rocky. A lot happened up to the picture you just saw, but a lot more has happened since then. It seemed like everything. I was living on the life of a dream. My goal really was to live on the interest of money that I had invested, of which we were doing. I had a beautiful wife, I had a lovely home, I had all the great trappings of a very wealthy individual who had financial independence. And basically I was retired. Had the home, had a beautiful land, had cars, had motorhomes, you know, all those wonderful things. Well, I'd found out really in 2008 that we'd lost it all. I was actually caught in the Arizona Ponzi scheme, one of the largest one in history actually. My family was involved, friends were involved, and we all lost. So what seemed to have happened to be a great and wonderful thing actually turned out to be a very devastating thing, because it was one of my closest friends and his business partner that took us. And at that point I just wondered, what's the next step in my life? God, what do I do? I was at a very deep, dark, depressed place in my life, and I just thought, well, I'll take an opportunity out in Washington, which I did. Turned out that the opportunity failed, which another opportunity failed, and another business venture failed. There were like several right in a row, and I just seemed like I was going down and down and down. The economy, as you know, in Arizona was one of the worst in history, and that's why I took this opportunity out there with a friend. Well, at that point in my life, I seemed to have hit one of the deepest, darkest, depressed places in my life, and it's one of those places and one of those times, and you just go, God, is it really worth living? And it was really at the point of suicide. Well, I figured that there was one thing that I could control, and that was my health and my fitness. Well, you saw what the before picture was. Very overweight, very depressed, and just at the place of like the point of despair. Where do you go from here? Well, I figured if I set some goals, I made a decision, and I made a commitment, then I could really do anything. And that's ultimately what I did. Is I said, well, here's where I'm at, and you know, I figure I just need to lose some weight. So I did those 3 steps. And several months later, I lost a bunch of weight, gained a bunch of muscle, and I felt really good. Well, I was still at this place where I'm living out of state. I'm living in my friend's really big 4,000 square foot home that's now been in foreclosure. So I'm squatting, right? Who's squatting? I'm squatting. So I'm there, and I just feel, man, like it's still, I've now did this little bit of a transformation, but it's a dark place in my life. Well, my brother calls me at that point and says, hey, why don't you come full circle? Come on back to Idaho. Well, because I'm a farm boy from Idaho, was raised and born here. So I ended up moving over to basically kind of renew this relationship with my brother. We had a couple different differences, so I thought, oh, this would be a great opportunity. I had also a job offer at the same time, so I came over, and what seemed to kind of be a good situation, you know, wasn't what I was expecting. So I ended up actually moving into my brother's treehouse in the backyard. So yes, that's true. I lived every kid's dream, lived in the treehouse. So I'm there in the treehouse. I just moved from 4,000 square feet into my brother's treehouse. Well, it came really time for me to move out. At the same time, I realized that the relationship that I had, a 15-year marriage, has now come crumbling down. My wife at the time, she just decided that it would be best if she lived in Arizona. And so I find myself alone, and I said, well, again, right, there's one thing I knew I could control, and that was my health and my fitness. And so I hired Sean Carlson with Body Fit Boise, and I said, Sean, here's where I'm at, here's where I want to go. The time period is 7 weeks, and I wanted to make the transformation by my birthday. And the only thing I really knew is I wanted single-digit body fat. That's what I wanted. And you know the vascular look you see on the front of the magazines with those guys with the veins and the abs? How do you get that? I always wondered, how do you get that? I said, that's what I want, Sean. Can you take me there? He said, yes, I can. I said, great, what do I need to do? You need to listen to what I tell you to do. I said, okay, I will. I did. At the end of the 7 weeks, I had 4% body fat, and yes, I had the vascularity, and I felt fantastic. I really felt, man, my esteem was going up. I felt some confidence, and I really felt blessed. I said, oh Lord, thank you so much. I feel really good about this. Well, at that time, one of the guys in the gym who's a very successful businessman, he's like, man, I've never seen a transformation done this fast ever. And he's been in the bodybuilding world for about 20 years. I really respect him. And as we're talking, a friend of mine walks in, and Chris Chiarella walks in. And so we start talking, and Chris says, you need to send your story to bodybuilding.com. I did. They ended up posting it, and when they did, the transformation, so my transformational story, it circled the globe instantly, and I started receiving emails from people all over the world that were like, wow, what an amazing story. I'm going to transform my life well, and they're asking questions, or they're really inspiring me, really. And I just felt so grateful. I felt very humbled that people read a story and it really encouraged them. And I thought, you know, there's people out there and they're wearing billboards, right? We're always wearing billboards, whether it's something positive or inspirational, or just the check mark of a Nike. Or, you know, what we're seeing too, the trend that we've been seeing was black, dark, gothic, bones, skulls, that type of thing. I said, that's never what I've been about. I've never wore that on, because I believe words are powerful. And I decided, well, I'll create a company. I'll have an apparel company. So Samsonwear was formed. And we said, we're going to put positive messages on people's chests, their arms, and their back. They're going to say inspiring, encouraging messages. And see, it's not just about you. It's not just about what you're wearing, but other people are reading that. Maybe someone walking down the street, or someone in the supermarket seeing your shirt or what you're wearing. And you know, they just lost their home, or they just lost a loved one. And maybe your shirt says never give up, right? It says never quit. It says just once more. You keep pushing forward, and that's our message. Our message is a message of inspiration to encourage and give hope to people. And so I've been very grateful to have aligned myself with some wonderful companies like bodybuilding.com and just some wonderful individuals out there. And our goal is to take this to the world. Would you join our team? Join the Samsonwear.com team. Email us in. If you got a market, you'd like to take this in, and it's a foreign country, or it's here in the States or whatever, we'd love to team up with you. Our goal is to take a large amount of the proceeds and direct them into funds that are going to encourage and inspire people. Funds like the James Fund, our fund, which is Impactful Living Fund. Two different amazing funds that will encourage and inspire people to help transform their lives, or just help orphanages around the world. Thank you for joining our team, the Samson.com team, and we know that you'll be blessed.